At the beginning of Man with the Iron Fist, I thought, unless I misread the screen, it said Quentin Tarantino present singular, which I think is a deliberate. I'm pretty sure that's what it said, which I think it's a deliberate game. So this is yet another.
What does that mean?
Well, it's yet another of those. Did you ever see Kill Bill?
Quentin. Yes.
So you remember at the beginning, it was a Shaw Brothers thing. So he loves this whole idea of, I have my exploitation back catalogue. I love to do everything so it looks like it's an old exploitation. I just love it because exploitation is a great thing. So it's one of those things. So it's written and directed by RZA from Wu-Tang Clan and co-written by Eli Roth, the guy behind the Hostel movies, for whom we have that. Eli Roth actually was on the program once. He came on when Cabin Fever was out, I think.
Yes, that was him.
And he was,
And Quentin Tarantino is going to be on the show next year.
Okay, fine. Well,
I'll play him that impression, and then
It's fine. We'll happily have words with Quentin Tarantino about why it is that he's not making films as good as Jackie Brown anymore. So, I have to say, on the evidence of this is both a film debut and a film swan song. It, according to the press notes, tells the epic story of warriors, assassins, and a lone outsider hero who all descend on one fabled village in 19th century China for a winner-takes-all battle for a fortune in gold. And the reason I'm reading that from the press notes is because I sat through the whole film and thought, I can't be bothered to understand the plot. Because frankly, neither can the film either. It just looks like a bunch of nerds being allowed to play dress-up. On the one hand, you have the director who is, I have to say, a stunningly uncharismatic screen presence as a blacksmith who's not interesting even when having limbs lopped off, which he has to then replace with the titular Iron Fists. And then you have Russell Crowe. Now, Russell Crowe is soon to be seen on screen in Les Miserables and his orchestra. Here, he is clearly kicking back a little bit, and relaxing himself in a role of sort of caricatured.
What sort of accent do we get?
We get a Russell Crowe accent. You want to hear? Okay, here is a bit of Russell Crowe in a house of ill repute doing what he is required to do in The Man with the Iron Fists.
It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way at all.
My name is Mr. Knife. You may call me Jack.
And now a song.
Now, what accent? Well, yeah, exactly. What accent was he doing there?
Well, I was distracted somewhat by the sound of dripping fluid, which didn't sound as though it was going to be fizzy orange.
No. But the whole film is at that level. My name!
It kind of doesn't matter what the accent is if you shout like that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, so here's the problem with it is, Quentin Tarantino was interviewed recently about his new movie Django, which I've got to see, I think, next week. And apparently it's 12 and a half hours long.
By the way,
yeah,
it's the RZA, apparently.
Which is apparently about 12 and a half hours long.
Which young people know.
The totes amaze.
Yeah.
And I've lost my train of thought now. Oh, yes, fine. Anyway,
can I just say, while you've lost your train of thought,
yeah,
at this particular moment, do I have your fatherly permission to read out a text from your daughter? This just come to my phone just now, which I still have on.
Go on.
Can I?
Yeah, all right.
Father's permission?
Yeah.
OMG, it begins. Never let my dad do text talk on the radio again. So totes embarrassing. And then she signs off.
That would be her.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So you have been told off.
Okay.
Carry on now.
The problem with this...
Undermined completely,
yeah.
Father, continue.
The problem with this is, in a recent interview, Quentin Tarantino said the worst film he ever made was Death Proof, and frankly, that wasn't bad. So that means that his catalogue is pretty good. The worst movie he made is Death Proof, and because Death Proof, of all those ones, when he has that kind of fascination with old exploitation movies, that he keeps trying to, it's like, as I said, it's like somebody showing you through their old record collection. Death Proof is the one that is the most indulgent. This film dreams of being Death Proof, despite the fact that it had at least the potential to being an homage and a spoof. It is, in fact, it's just a badly made martial arts movie, made staggeringly humorously and full of kind of self-aggrandizement. Russell Crowe is rubbish and then some in it. And you think, I'm sorry, if I want to watch a scrungy, sleazy, splattery exploitation fighting, I will go and watch one of the originals. If you're going to come to me now and say, actually, what you have to do is watch my take on it, because in fact now it's going to be all very postmodern and blah, 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 then do something interesting with it. Don't just do somebody who looks like they're playing dress up, and they all do. And the weird thing is, I mean, Russell Crowe, whatever else may be true, and he is a half-decent actor, just looks like somebody with a dress-up box doing that. And you heard that clip. I am Jack, Mr. Knife, but you can call me Jack. That's pretty much the zingiest line in the whole film. Astonishingly, it turns out that the first cut of the film was 4 hours long, and at some point they talked about cutting it into 2 separate movies. At which point Eli Roth said, "No, it's got to be, it's got to be 90." At 90 minutes long, it felt like it had savagely overstayed its welcome. I am aware that The Hobbit is coming at us in how many movies is The Hobbit going to be? 7 now? 8, 9,
3.
10, 12, 3?
3 Hobbits.
Okay, fine. The idea that anybody could ever have contemplated, and this is only because what happened with Kill Bill, right? Quentin Tarantino should have cut Kill Bill down to 1 movie. He didn't. He made it into 2 movies, and it suffered as a result of it. In the case of this, even cutting it down to 90 minutes, which is pretty much as lean as it could possibly be, it sorely outstays its welcome. It's really uninvolving and boring. And I speak as somebody who likes a good bit of exploitation sleaze with a little bit of a postmodern twist in it sometimes. In it. I didn't mean in it, in it. I meant postmodern twist.
Ruffle.
In it. Ruffle. OMG.
Exactly.
It's neither totes amaze nor dead emotion, but it is dead
You
awful.
have been told.
I have, and I'm going to stop doing it. Fine.